Group. We're a member of a group called the Friends of Historic Saugerties. We have Arzie in the thing. She's the one who nudges all of us. And then there's Michael Sullivan Smith and Peggy Mulligan, who are the ones who supply us lots and lots of information to put stuff together. There's Chester, and then there's me. And all I do is whatever. Anyhow, what else am I supposed to do, Nudger?
Tell your joke.
What joke? These are not jokes, they are pieces of information. Thanks for the cue. And in reality, seeing as we're talking about schools and education, what do you call, and you guys made with the one-room schoolhouses and the background you might have, what do you call a donkey with a diploma who has graduated? Oh, come on, everybody knows a smart ass when they see one. And on that note, Peggy, no, this is Arzie. That's the reason we got
We
these
look
things.
alike.
Welcome, everybody. Excuse my back. I don't like being in the spotlight. Peggy Mulligan is a member of Friends of Historic Saugerties and the Town of Saugerties Historic Preservation Commission. As a child, every afternoon after school was spent at local gathering places or around welcoming tables where stories would flow and memories were created and shared. She fondly remembers all the local businesses where everybody knew your name, and the shopping spots where people would gather to get the info on the comings, and the eating spots where people would gather to get the info on the comings and goings of locals or give directions to visitors. Saugerties News would be heard on the radio, while the Post-Star and Saugerties Telegraph would publish the news of the hamlets, personal happenings, and other important community news and events. This was Saugerties then, a town and village held together by its community, with some families extending far back in time. From these warm and tender personal memories come Peggy's interest in honoring and keeping alive the stories of Saugerties. I'm going to say please welcome Peggy in about 1 minute, but I also want to suggest if there's any problem hearing, because we don't have mics that are going into the audience or for the speakers, raise your hand and we want you to all hear. So please welcome Peggy Mulligan.
Thank you, milady. Am I on?
Yes, you are.
I am, okay.
Does everybody have it?
So-
Talk something.
First, let me introduce our esteemed guest. Everybody know Wes?
Yep.
Okay. Everybody know Barb?
Don't assume everybody knows everybody.
Now we gotta stop and get last names.
Washburn.
Barbara Vedder Washburn. Melody Washburn Daly. Janine Ricketson. Which name you want? Snooky. Snooky Flovok. Kelly. First, I have to say, this is not a history of education in Saugerties. This is primarily where were the schoolhouses, which ones are still standing, and who remembers what about going to the one-room schoolhouses. Because, like Arzie said, we all like to remember how it was, who we were, who they were, and so, you know, the everyday history of Saugerties. Which leads me to, what restaurant was I talking about where there was somebody standing outside giving directions? The Main Street Restaurant. And Bobby Dixon, 2 rights and a left. And Bobby Dixon got fed. People in the community took care of Bobby Dixon. You know, a lot of that isn't the same anymore. So we're gonna just take our little travel back in time and enjoy remembering, really not that long ago, in our lifetimes. There's a caveat. Don't tell anyone I'm not a native. When we moved up here, we had been coming up, members of my family had moved up previous to us coming in the mid-60s. And prior to our moving here, we would come up summers and weekends. And guess who we grew up with up here? The Volk family. So we are family. And my sister and I, we came from Long Island, and my sister and I were shocked that people our age and younger actually went to one-room schoolhouses. We came from a school on Long Island that was as big as the school as Cahill is today. You know, and it was like, and we were on a 10-party line with the Volk family. And we got 2 TV stations. So, it's a lot of fond memories for me, that whole era. And with that, let me see if I can find my thing. Here it is. So there you go. There's the map, and somebody pointed out, where is West Camp? You see where Kotspon is? Which one's the pointer on this one?
This right there.
Well, it's the different one than the one you gave me before.
I know that.
See where it says Kotspon? There's West Camp hiding underneath it. Okay? So these were the schools in the town.
Hang on, I'm gonna do something.
Okay.
Stop
That
standing
me?
underneath the microphone.
I happen to really like, whoops,
Give me that one.
that. I really like all 3 of those quotes because look how they belong together. We are now the not many left who remember. So, we are carrying forward today that history. And for anybody that's interested, if you go upstairs into the history room, they have yearbooks. And there's some places where I got some of the information. There is history published, you gotta look for it. If anybody wants any of that information, see me afterwards, and we'll make arrangements so I can let you know how to get it. There we are there. Look, in 1823, there were 11 schools in the town and village of Saugerties. By number, there may have been more schoolhouses, like in the village. What's interesting to me about that is, whoops, I can't see my notes. In 1823, there were the 11 districts, and there were, oh gosh, I can't read it. In 1880, there were 24 districts. So in that short period of time, what I find interesting is that there were that many schools in the town and village of Saugerties before Henry Barclay. So, for as much as he did for Saugerties, there was already a heck of a lot of people here. And the village schools were, we're gonna just click through these and show where they were, and I'm gonna say a few things maybe, because I want these people to talk about their experiences, and then open it up for all of you. If you have questions, you can raise your hand. If I ask a question, you can answer, but no diatribes till after. Sound good? All right. So, there we go, there's the map. of where the schools were in the village. And number 10, the Livingston Street School. Do you know where that was? Where the UARC is now, at the end of Livingston Street on the corner of Elizabeth. Whoops, I'm not used to doing this. There it is there. Nope, that's school number 10. Oh gosh, I'm really screwing up here. There we go, 1875 map. There is the Livingston Street School. Down here, where Burhan's is, was later became where the Dutch church was originally. That became the Saugerties Academy. People get the two of these schools mixed up. And when you say Livingston Street School, they think you're talking about the one that was the VFW Hall.
That was a school?
For a very brief period of time. We're almost there. What's going on? Okay. The cemetery, the Livingston Street School, started at the cemetery. See it right there? And it was condemned and rebuilt on Livingston Street. So, look at how long ago that was. On the Livingston property in 1825 was the Livingston Street School. And oh gosh, it doesn't come out so good. Some of these pictures are from the newspaper and there's no way to clean them up. But you can see that it was a brick building and it was two-story. Oh, that's better. And it was a brick building. Brick building. Two-story brick building. There were no names with this paper, but we wouldn't have known them. It was from the 1890s. And there it is today. Number 15 on Post Street. We know where that is, right?
No.
No, if you go down Partition and then go down to Post Street. Yeah, and there it is. Between Post Street and Washington Avenue. It was built around 1830, sold in 1908. It had 5 departments with 5 teachers. And in 1899, scarlet fever broke out. Do you remember that building, seeing that building? This is what it looks like now.
It still stands?
It stood until it became apartment houses. It stood until about 2 or 3 years ago they tore it down. School District number 21 on Hill Street. There's the bridge. We see this one almost every time we go to and from Berkeley Heights. It used to be right in here somewhere. In 1842, Henry Barclay sold the property to the trustees of school number 21. And there it was, as we remember it. And here it is today, Jim Henson's house. Saugerties Academy, as said before, was on Livingston Street, sort of like right across from First Street. And that's what it looked like. This is what it looks like today. This may be what it looked like. Michael, I forget which map this is, that from the Davis collection. But that was a hand-drawing rendition of the first brick church. And that's what it became. And then later it became the VFW, and now it's a church. What's interesting is, if we go back and look, You see this window here? And you see these windows here? And you look at the building today? So you can see, Gus and I went and took a look. You can sort of see the outline.
Yeah, you can.
And you can see where the different, look at the lintels, look at the stone lintels. This one's still remaining. And you can see from the brickwork where they've added or deleted things. The Saugerties Institute came after the Saugerties Academy. The Academy and the Saugerties Institute became schools of higher learning besides what was taught in the grade schools. The Academy didn't do so well, but they started the Saugerties Institute, which became the predecessor to today's Main Street. And this is what it looked like. And I'll tell you where it is in a moment. Does that mean, what am I doing that I'm whistling? That's what it looks like today. Next to the cow flop on Main Street, next to the farmer's market, the parking lot. So, the high school, as Main Street School, Cahill School, this is what it was. That's a Kierstead house. That house now is on Washington Avenue. They moved it in the early 1900s in order to build Main Street School, which followed the Saugerties Institute. So that's what it looked like then. That was the proposed building of the Main Street. And that's a finished Main Street. This is another postcard. The reason I included this one was because of the ivy. And our friend Joan Zuckerman said when her parents graduated in 1924 and 1928, it was tradition for the senior class to plant ivy. Nice little memory. These murals are from the WPA in the 1930s, and they still hang inside, not hang, they're painted on the wall at Main Street School. Maybe it's my teeth. St. Mary's, we know where that is. And Gus is going to say, no.
No.
At the end of Cedar Street. And that's what it looked like. That was, in 1881, the Sisters of Charity arrived. And the pastor then was Reverend Dennis Paul O'Flynn. And he lived in this building. It was the former rectory. The school opened in January. Let me go here. Oh, I can't do that. And, oh, thank you, Gus.
Don't thank me yet.
Shortly after, I can't see what year. Anyway, a one-room brick schoolhouse was fitted up near the church for older boys during that time period. And later on, a classroom was arranged in a loft of a carriage house behind the convent, meaning this building. That was the convent. First the rectory, then the convent and school. Notice here this driveway going around. By the way, in these old tiny postcards, they often add people and animals or vehicles or stuff. So sometimes they look funnier, you know. So anyway, so that's what it looked like then. That's what it looks like now. And here's that round driveway. So if you go up behind St. Mary's School, you can take the driveway all the way around. when you come up to this building and you're facing it, this here is on the left. This is what you see when you drive up. So this would be over here. And that became the school before before they built today's St. Mary's School. So that little building has been a lot of things, and it's still in use, as we all know. And it was built in 1894. And there it is today. And there's St. Mary's. Schools in the town. There were 21 school districts in the town of Saugerties around the time of centralization in the 50s. And there they, as you saw before, there they all are. The Pine Grove School, if you're taking 212, you go over Herrick's Bridge, and you make the right onto Old 212, follow it around, and you come to that Four Corners back there, is where this building is still standing and is now a residence. And that's what it looks like. This and a few others were on that 1823 map that I talked about before. The average attendance in 1875 was 25 to 30 students. Manorville School. Anybody know there was a school in Manorville besides?
Yes.
Okay, anybody else? Did you know there was a school in Manorville? Do you know where Manorville is?
Now we're talking. What is Manorville?
So, if you are on West Saugerties Road and you make a right onto Manorville Road, keep going forever. And shortly before you get to the border with Palinville, in that stretch there, Augustine Road, if you know where Augustine Road is, that's the general area of where the Manorville School was. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Unfortunately, except I have been told it is still standing, and there's a private residence, but I couldn't quite find which house it was, so I didn't take a picture. But I found this. In 1938, Grace Vedder
My sister.
had perfect attendance. And there was a recitation of a Christmas welcome given by Barbara Vedder Washburn. Isn't that cool? There
Yeah.
she is. Whoops.
Yeah,
There she is right there.
yeah,
And there's Grace.
yeah.
That was my sister.
And cousins, the other Vedder cousins.
Was my uncle. Norman was my uncle.
Yeah, that says Norma, not Norman.
Yeah, it's Norman.
Had to be Norman.
Didn't Norman have a daughter, Norma? No, so that must be Norman.
Norman, yeah.
And they, okay.
That's because he was.
So
a baby, right?
Anna was,
And that name should be Anna Mae.
okay.
Yeah, Anna Mae.
That was my aunt.
So Norman and Anna were brother and sister.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Santa Claus was supposed to be there. Did he show up?
Are you gonna sing, the school song and the Christmas welcome today?
Saxton School. Do we remember Saxton School?
I remember saying that.
Did they ever find the bell?
Yes.
Cool. And that's from the Volk family. That's a picture of the school. And there is a newspaper in 1953, a picture of the school. It used to be an antique store for a while.
After that,
And-
yeah.
And that's what it looks like today.
It stood there for a long time, right?
From the mid-1800s or before.
But how long, when did they take it down?
Let me go back and see. Oh, when did they take it down?
Yeah, when did they take it down?
About 10 years ago
Yeah, what, I knew it was there for a long
10, 15
time.
years ago, yeah.
is when they tore it down.
Yeah,
There may have been another school because it's at some location, because it is one of the schools listed in that 1823. But in 1840, this particular property was owned by the Legg family. And one of the Leggs sold the property to the school. In 1878, there were 50 students registered, and the average attendance was 25. Mount Marion School at Mount Marion Four Corners, just south, a wee bit from the firehouse.
oh, that still stands, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it looked like in 1957. It was white, painted with red trim, like forever. I think I remember the red trim. And there it is, not that many years ago, with green trim. Remember, Mrs. Stafford had an antique, sold antiques out of there. They lived, she at the time lived across the street.
Exactly.
And that little green sign says Schoolhouse. That sign
And
right
it's still
there.
there. That
It's
sign is
still there. And there it is today. What's interesting to know, that this, I know where the school was prior. Dougie Meyer's Stone House, they held classes there, in that house. Somewhere along the line, they built a stone schoolhouse in this vicinity, replaced by this one. Okay, gotta go up this way, gotta see what I have written there. What would I do without you? 1840s, Levi D. Meyer sold the property for this school. While this school was being built, whoops, I'm a little confused. In the 1870s, a new frame schoolhouse was built. That one, okay. While that one was being built, school was held in Cockburn Seminary. Who remembers Les Lilas Restaurant on Churchland Road? Anybody? Yeah, you do, okay. So if you're at the Mount Marion Four Corners and you're going towards High Woods, you would make a right onto Churchland Road, and maybe a quarter of a mile or so down on the left-hand side, if you look, there's this big house. It was a Chinese restaurant in the 70s.
Yeah.
There's this big house. That was one of the Cockburn houses from way back in time. What I found when I was poking around trying to find all different kinds of information was that that was not uncommon, that there were various places where school was held prior to centralization, even during centralization, like when they were building Mount Marion School or Main Street School, they went next door, they had classes in the house, today's Ivy Lodge. The other interesting thing about this is that at the end of Schoolhouse Road and Sheehan Lane, there's a schoolhouse right at the corner there, the Ruby School. The Ruby School was considered part of the Saugerties School District until centralization. And that's the Ruby School. Owned at the moment by members of the Trumper family. The Churchland School, Churchland Lane, it's kind of hard to figure out exactly where it was because Churchland Road, Churchland Lane, Old Kings Highway, they've changed over the years. It was in the general area of where Railroad Avenue and Old Kings Highway meet, sort of in that general area. And that's what it looked like. It's on that 1823 list. The property was purchased in 1854. In 1881, it was sold to the Wallkill Valley Railroad. The schoolhouse was moved across the road, and it closed in 1950, and they raised it for the building of the thruway. Cotsman School, that's the best picture I could find, an old picture I could find. Look close enough to what it used to look like, Wes?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's it today.
Yep.
It was said that it was housed in the original built brick building constructed in the 1820s. When the first school went on, I think it was there before then, long before then. And look who's in this picture. See that person there? That's John Finger, Wes's brother. That's one of John showed me. And Audrey wasn't there that day. She was absent. See, that's what it says. And check this out. 2 Gatina Pesh. Two of them.
Yep. Big Gatina and Little Gatina.
I'm sorry?
Big Gatina and Little Gatina.
Yeah. As a little aside, anybody that's doing any kind of looking into your family or other families or anything of general interest, you have to be careful. Not only of spellings, which changed over time because of the way whoever was writing it down heard it. If you didn't understand German and somebody German was telling you something, you wrote it phonetically. Or there could be 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people with the same name, etc., etc., etc. And look, another finger picture. Where are you? Where are you? Second row. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Isn't this fun?
It's way fun.
And
Another Pesh.
Yeah.
yeah, Fred's right above me. He's in the back room there. The back of the room.
Where are you?
Fred.
Ta-da! Awesome! How cool! Who was the teacher? I think you wrote it down.
Mrs. Tietzel.
Oh, Tietzel, okay.
To the right. See, to the right.
Victor Sachs, I remember Victor Sachs. The Asbury School. Why do I keep doing that? The former Grange Hall, Asbury School, do you know where it was? All right, we're on Old Kings Highway.
We're on Old Kings.
We're at the stop sign at Mertz's Tavern,
Okay.
okay? And we're gonna go straight to Catskill. And we're gonna go to Trumper's Corners. The Trumper house would be on my right. One of the Trumper houses, the old stone houses up the hill. And across from that is Schoolhouse Road. There's a big yellow house there with the Victory in 1777 sign. So you're gonna turn left onto Schoolhouse Road. And before you get to Charles Smith Road, which would be a right off of Schoolhouse Road, there's the old cemetery, the old Asbury Cemetery. There used to be a church there, which became the Grange Hall, and the schoolhouse. Not far, the former Grange Hall. See, it says it right there. And that schoolhouse was raised, I don't remember when, I remember it, I remember seeing it.
It's a while ago, but it was.
It's a while ago, but-
It burned.
It burned,
And
okay.
then, yeah, then they knocked it down, and then they straightened the road out, because the roads used to, kind of was in the
Right.
middle, the road used to go this way, now it just goes straight.
Right, and where Charles Smith goes this way, Schoolhouse changes name to Wilhelm Road.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like now. So somewhere between here, see Charles Smith Road coming out there? There's Charles Smith Road. So,
Right in there.
and it was right in there. And depending on which old map you look at, it's on one corner or the other. It might have been over
It's
here
like
or
there,
over
it was
here.
over
Or,
there.
yeah, or over here.
It was right there by the road, it wasn't too far.
Yeah, no.
Right on that
No, see,
corner.
here's a 1854 map. There's the school. There's the church. Reverend Crawford, by the way. And here's 1858, it's sort of still in the same place. But now there's Charles Smith Road is now on the map in 1875, and there's the school there.
Right, that's where I remember it.
Yeah, that's where I remember it.
I remember it there.
There's the graveyard.
And the Grange Hall stood, my gosh,
It was like right there.
right there, and it was
Yeah.
there for years. It's probably
Yeah.
been going 20 years, but I remember it.
If you were dancing there.
Cedar Grove School.
That's ours.
Again, that's the best I could do, folks. Most of these pictures from the newspaper are from the different back-to-school issues in the 1950s that were in the Saugerties Telegraph. We think, some of us think that that's the house. That's the schoolhouse. This schoolhouse was on land owned by the Wynkoop family. In 1856, it was deeded to the school. And that school stood there until Cedar Grove Firehouse. Yeah. Janine, you're gonna tell us a little bit more later. Right?
Okay.
Yeah?
If you want, I
Okay.
mean, it was white and, what do you want me to say?
No, when in a little
Later.
bit, in a little
Later, you
bit.
don't wanna know now.
Well, go ahead, tell me now.
No, we'll put.
Do you want a microphone?
With my big mouth?
Join the club.
Yeah, no, it was there when they enlarged the firehouse, not when they first made the firehouse, but when they enlarged the firehouse. Cause
Okay.
the firehouse and the company was established in 1950. It was after the school was closed that they needed it, and my uncle moved it down Mauer Mill Road to Percy Mauer's sawmill, where it was neglected. And then, they had to take it down, cause he just didn't take care of it.
Okay, so so the White House across the street is not the present,
No, that was
Okay.
a bungalow that belonged to my grandfather.
okay.
On
Alright,
the left-hand side, as you're going down Mauer Mill Road, is not the schoolhouse.
okay.
It's a
'Cause I've had a few people, a number of people say to me, I think that's the old schoolhouse.
No,
So,
And now it's down?
Hmm?
Now it's all down.
it's down, unfortunately.
okay, so we're gonna ignore that.
I know that bungalow, my parents lived there. I think
Glasgow
it was-
School has an interesting history. That's where it used to be.
Well, it's centrally located anyway.
Yep, that triangle.
Yeah.
The first Glasgow School was a one-room wooden building located on the triangle. John Lent, Glasgow's oldest resident in 1873, recalls that in 1873, with the number of children increasing, that school was torn down and a two-room brick building was erected in its place. Still another room was added at a later date. The present school, this is from a 1952 article, the present school building was started in 1927, built on 3 acres of property which had belonged to Gabriel de Paula. The first school year after its completion, 1930, the 10-room building took care of 450 pupils.
Wow.
And there's a picture from the early 1890s of the brick building in the triangle, not the present one. So in 1955, when the paper was gathering information, somebody put that in. The teacher was Catherine Dale and Anne Ketchum. And and it gives a little bit of history under there too.
How many students did you say, Ray?
450 in the Glasgow district.
Is that just with 2 teachers?
Couldn't tell you.
This and the 2 teachers?
That would be
There had to have been more. Oh, wait a minute. The principal was Charles Townsend. 2 teachers. When this picture was taken, so I counted wait a minute, 450, I said previously. In this picture, I tried to count the number of students and came out somewhere around 100, 110. 2 teachers and the principal. What am I doing that I keep squealing?
Not talking.
Ta-da! There was no number 10 school in the town of Saugerties because the village schools, the 3 village schools, became school district number 10. I think it's the Malden School. You're gonna have to help me with this one. That's what it looked like. That's it today.
Yep.
Today. Look, whoops. I think that's cool.
Yep.
Where is that, Claudia?
It's right near the park where the cannon is.
Oh, okay, that's what I
It's
thought.
right
There's a
around.
house in between.
Yeah, but it's
Maybe
near
it's
there.
this.
Recess was in the park.
The Malden Graded School. Can you see the names? Wilbur Winnie, William Schaefer, Harry Overbaugh, William Brockway. Familiar names in there, some of them.
Oh, yeah.
Call Jimmy Page if you can identify the unknown boy. Thanks to William Schaefer for the loan of this great photo. I just saw Jimmy, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, Dee?
Yeah.
You saw Jimmy? It was awesome to see him.
Bruce Ackerman's in that picture.
Bruce Ackerman, yeah.
He's in one picture.
Where is he, Paul?
I'm not sure which one it's him.
Oh, wait a minute.
Third
Paul Newkirk
row,
was the
third
teacher.
row from left. The first is unknown.
3rd row, right
From the
there?
left, the first student is unknown.
Okay.
Then there's Joe Martin, Fred Schaefer, John Schaefer, William Peaktoom, Jeff Moore, Bruce Ackerman.
There you go. That's cool.
I didn't know Bruce Ackerman.
West Saugerties School. Howie Post, did you come? No, he didn't come.
I went to the West Saugerties School.
It's still standing.
Oh, good. Garrisons are here. Now, when I come to, if I'm taking from Glasgow Turnpike and I take that West Saugerties Woodstock Road down to the end, at that corner is where the school is, up on the hill. Correct? Am I correct?
No, it's behind the big stone wall that was built around the school.
Okay. So you
Right
can't,
in the corner, it was the first house on the left as you're coming from Woodstock, and the West Saugerties
yeah,
Woodstock Road.
okay.
yeah.
So you can't see it from the road?
No,
Okay. Look at this. That's the water fountain. I'm assuming that this was bucket and pail.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that was for washing your hands.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there will be people here that in a few minutes will tell us what the facilities were like.
There's the soap dispenser.
Oh, where?
Hang it up on the.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Good catch. Did anybody know Carl Welcome?
I did,
You did? Who did? Who's that? You did, Sue?
yeah, I remember him.
Cool. Tell him he's famous now.
I don't know where he is.
West Camp, also known as Evesport. Can't really make that out, but
Looks like it.
check this out. In 1710, according to Mr. Brink, the Palatines built a church and a school in 1710.
That's where I went.
And Majeska Signs donated that sign that you can't read there, but that's what it said. Whoops. That's what it said. And I did hear it may be, that sign may be in the church somewhere. It would be nice to put it back. Exactly where that school was, that first school, I myself don't know, but we know where St. Paul's is, so we know that it's in that general area.
West Camp School was on Emmerich Road.
Later.
Well, that picture you showed was the one on Emmerich Road.
Oh, it was?
Yes. I used to walk to school there. Yep. And
Okay,
the outhouses were up behind it.
okay. But the first schoolhouse is the one that they're talking about in
So there's one before this one.
yeah,
Oh.
Yep.
That's the one.
1710. But I don't know, was it, maybe classes were held in the church or the rectory, or maybe they had another building, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I haven't found, I shouldn't, so. High Woods School. Ta-da! Linwald and Geddix, this was a Christmas card. And Cliff Snyder had, this same picture, but not as a Christmas card. So there's the church on Church Road in High Woods off of Glasgow Turnpike. And there's the school. Lynn's father, Francis Wolven, bought the schoolhouse. And it's now in use, as we know, as a community center, and today's their chicken barbecue. Either that or a yard sale or something,
Both.
maybe both. They're trying to raise money to fix the steeple on the church. They held quilting bees. Anybody ever go to the quilting bees in High Woods? And there it is, getting a facelift. Daisy, Daisy. Anybody know where Daisy was?
Schulte's Corners, right?
What?
Out by Schulte's Corners.
Schulte's Corners. It still is Daisy. Most people don't know that. Many people, I should say, don't know that that area, it extended from approximately Baumgarten Road and 212 to almost to Chestnut Hill Cemetery on 212, and from somewhere around the border of Woodstock and Saugerties on that side of Glasgow Turnpike, and down to Fred Short Road, and down along John Joy Road. And the France Cemetery on John Joy Road is actually the Daisy Cemetery. But everybody calls it, and it's now known as the France Cemetery, because guess who lived on that road?
Did you say?
Besides John Joy, the France family.
It's Daisy Cemetery.
Oh yeah, there's the Red Onion. That's where I live. So just go up the road a little bit. And that was the Daisy School. This is from my collection from June Overbaugh. Her mother was Millie Herrick, maiden name, and it was her family that donated the land or sold grandfather for that school. And it was in the vicinity of these buildings. Do you remember Cousins Appliance Center on Glasgow Turnpike? This was the Cousins' house. I don't know exactly where the house was in relation to both of these. The house is here, if you're facing it. The house is here and Stodry Emblems is here. So somewhere in that general area is where the schoolhouse was. Well, I didn't do that one. Cousins Appliance also became something motorcycle sales and service for a while. And then I believe the building burned down. Flatbush School, there were two. That's an older picture of the present one. Harry Carl in 1979. For quite a few years, it has been a plan of mine to try to place in writing a sort of picture of what Flatbush was and looked like in the late 1890s, since there are not many left who remember. Whoops, I'm doing the wrong thing again. Near Gray Mouse Farm and down the road was the TXT Clubhouse, which stood near the present school and was purchased when the new school was ready and moved to its present site. The school before this one. Now we come to the schoolyard where the brick school stands, built in 1908. The frame building, now the clubhouse, stood where this one did before it was moved. The old frame school that is now TXT Clubhouse, I don't remember TXT Clubhouse, was built sometime about 1840, but I certainly know where that is. The Veteran School, another heartbreaker. Ta-da. Said to have been purchased, the land said to have been purchased in 1834.
It's a beautiful building.
John Bubb, that was a John Bubb photo. And this was in the newspaper. And there it is today. I remember a few years ago, there was some interest in trying to save it. And since then, on and off, there's been more interest. And one day I spent a delightful afternoon with Rich Frisbee. And we went and visited the schoolhouse. And he told the story of, I think it was his father who had a pet crow that would come with him to the school. Glenerie School. There's the bridge on 9W.
That's the dam.
The dam. Oh, where's the bridge? I lost the bridge. Must be up here somewhere.
Yes.
Okay, that must be it. The bridge is up here somewhere. This is the dam. And there was a whole village in there for the white lead company. And that's what it looked like. Which of those buildings, and if it's in there, I don't know. That's what that little self-contained village looked like. The company store.
Where was it?
Exactly where, if you're taking 9W to south to Kingston, PVI Hill,
Right.
the waterfalls. And after the waterfalls, now this may have changed with building of 9W, but after or near the waterfalls, there was this whole strip of land.
Down in there.
So down in there,
It's all been demolished.
it's all gone. The schoolhouse was
It's hard
moved.
to, no, it's hard to even believe that something that big was there.
I know,
You know?
I know. In 1914, that schoolhouse was moved to Old Stagecoach Road. I believe it might still be standing or recently not with us anymore. And in 1875, there was 50 students enrolled with an average attendance of 25. Blue Mountain used to look, well, sort of still looks like that. And there it is today. You can't see it from the road right now, so I couldn't get a today picture.
It's grown up a little bit.
I'm sorry?
It's grown up a little bit.
Yeah. Fish Creek School used to be a community center in our teenage time. Rockin' on Fish Creek, Fish Creek Road. Oh, Arzy,
Ours. It's still
331 is the number, and there it is today. It's now brown, with some obvious changes. I remember stopping there when they were doing some work on that building a few years ago. I said, did you know that this was the school? And they looked at me like I had 6 heads. They could have cared less. The workers, not the.
My grandmother went there.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Quarryville. Where is this? Bruce McLaughlin photo. Look at, whoops. Look at the road. That's Harry Wells Road.
Yeah.
Really? Oh,
18
that's right, because it's at the end, right? Yeah, it's at the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, it doesn't look like that at all, but.
Well, that's because they took down this part. And that's what it looked like after they took down that part. And that's what it looks like now.
Pretty much.
And I remember going in it as an antique store.
Me too.
And for all I know, it's probably still crammed full of stuff.
I think she still has her stuff in there.
Yeah.
She's down at the one in the village. She works that one, with the guy.
Oh, okay.
But she has all her stuff in there. She puts her stuff at the one in the village.
When the Bluestone, up to 100 students attended. Amazing. When the Bluestone industry started to decline, so did the number of school-aged children. Part of the building was removed and changed from a 2-room to a 1-room school. In 1959, Mrs. Freeman Stay and the community group bought the Quarryville School for $206. The land was owned then by Fred Wells, who said, you know, it's okay, just leave it here. Oh, Snooky. Who's that?
That would be my father-in-law.
No, you would be your mother-in-law.
Oh, the mother-in-law. That's what she's my father-in-law.
Oh,
He
really?
went there too.
Is that John?
It could be.
Yeah, but that's definitely Myrtle.
Wow.
Myrtle Kelly, we all know Myrtle. Remember in their house, when you first went in their house, there was in the front door, there was like a little portico. And she had shelves on the one side. And all of her crochet baby stuff, blankets and baby dresses and little cap hats and I can't tell you how many times I would go there and buy presents for people who had babies, and they would make a little thing, handmade with love by Myrtle Kelly.
Yeah. And that's John next door?
That could be. It sure
John
looks.
next door?
It sure looks like.
It is.
Wow.
I don't know. Don Doyle may know. That's whose picture it drew.
What year do you think that is, Peggy? give or take.
So Myrtle is gone, well, how old was Myrtle when she passed?
She was 87.
I was gonna say almost 90. And that was 2 or 3
Don't
years.
ask me how many years.
I'll say 3 years ago, give or take. So there, do the math. But it looks like she's in the upper grade of whatever grades they taught. Okay, so that's a bit about all of the
That's
old
was
schoolhouses, where they all were.
Yeah.
I hope my nerves and my squeaking
Yeah.
went okay.
You're fine.
But I have a couple of more pictures to show you, because some of us really may remember Evelina Fuller.
Yay.
After she retired, she taught for 35 years. And after she retired, she volunteered at Mount Marion School for goodness knows how long. And she taught at the Churchland, Saxton, Cedar Grove, and Mount Marion.
Yep.
Wow.
And two more very beloved teachers in Saugerties. They are included here because they also were teaching before centralization. So if it's people that we knew when we were in school, it's like, wow,
Yeah.
you know, they came from one-room schoolhouse backgrounds. Pauline has her own fascinating school history.
I have those books.
Yeah, she wrote a couple of others, I think.
Teacup Tales.
Teacup
and
Cat, Class
Class
Dismissed,
I have
and then
both.
Boots something, there's another book.
Okay, I only.
And look at this, Dr. Sonking, 1936. He was at the Manorville School. Is that not he practiced until he retired in the 70s, the 1970s.
He delivered me.
And his house is now the Sawyer Bank building, the blue Sawyer Bank building. His family was related to the family that owns Danny Lamb's office. And both houses, oh God, there's a shower upstairs at Danny Lamb's that equals any modern shower of today, with like body jets on 2 walls.
What were you doing in there?
I was just gonna ask her that.
Besides dancing with Gus and hanging out in Danny Lamb's shower.
I guess.
The History Whisperers used to meet upstairs, so that was the bathroom that we used.
Cool.
Both houses, I was in the Sawyer building after they bought it, and there were some pretty cool things in there too. Mike Hinchy lived there. Now, in Danny Lamb's, if you go in the back door of Danny Lamb's, and on the wall to the stairway, there's a telephone hanging on the wall. That was the telephone that they had installed that was only for those 2 houses. And that telephone's still there. Doesn't work.
That's funny.
And then, what were they like? You know, I didn't say, we all remember Dr. Wenger too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And he made house calls up until God knows when.
Yeah.
And guess who that is?
Dan Lamb?
Bobby Garrison. That's Bobby. And if you look at it, once you know it, you know it's him. Right?
I didn't at first.
No, but I didn't either, and then I saw the name and I said, oh my God, it really is. For those who don't know, Bobby Garrison died 10 years ago, 15 years ago?
Long time,
Long
20
time.
years.
2003.
2003, 20 years ago. So, and I went to school with him.
Good guy.
So, what were they like? Well, now, I'm gonna turn it over to our esteemed panel.
I'm gonna hand you a microphone that hopefully works soon. Testing 1, 2. And I guess maybe what you would like to do will go down past the
Yeah,
microphone.
yeah, that's a good idea. Wes,
And
Some memories.
Some memory.
some memories.
Yeah.
You
We
know,
call them pub
you
stories
hold
there,
this, I'm not
maybe.
gonna stand here and hold
I
it.
thought you were gonna have to hold it.
How many jobs do I need?
Many. I'm Wes Finger. Is this working, I hope?
Yes.
I went to the Courtsman School for 6 years. And Freddie Pesh in the back there went with me. And we have a lot of great memories. I was talking to my sister, Audrey, recently about this, and a couple of my other friends who went to Courtsman School. And they remember a lot of things I didn't remember. But I have certain memories also. I remember the whole school system with Mrs. Tietzel, by the way, was probably the best teacher Saugerties has ever had.
Just in case you go, you know, Art Carney. Just in case.
I don't know if anybody knows Mrs. Tietzel, remembers her at all, but she was probably, I'd say, fantastic. And she taught me all 6 years. So we had kindergarten through 6. I started out in first grade. I was supposed to be in kindergarten, but there were 2 kindergarten kids and 2 first grade kids, and Mrs. Tietzel put us all in first grade. One less grade to teach. Her whole principle of teaching was based upon praise and rewards, which encouraged the older students to help the younger students also. If, for example, the 6th grade got all A's on some test or did really well, she gave you another 10 minutes recess, something along that line. The other gift she gave out was we had to walk down Kings Highway to another house to get water because the water at the school was polluted. And that was quite an honor to get. They had a water bucket and you walk down to Mary McFarland's house to get the water and then bring it back. I did not remember that. That was told to me by another person who went to school. This was so much fun. I mean, I love going to school. We had all kinds of activities on recess and lunchtime.
I have 2 questions. Where'd you go to the bathroom?
Well, I was gonna get to that.
Oh, you seem to be playing, so
When I first started, they had an outhouse. It was a 2-holer, and that was used quite frequently. And then someplace while between kindergarten and 1st grade and 6th grade, they built an addition onto the school. And that included a furnace, which replaced the wood stove, which was there before. And it also gave us water and bathrooms inside. Now, exactly when that happened, I don't really know, but I remember when I started out, it was the outhouse, and when I went to junior high, the outhouse was not used anymore. Okay? The interesting thing is the games we played at recess, your school system would be arrested today for the games we played. Okay? Midnight Tackle was one of my favorites. And there you had two end lines, one person in the middle who was it. He'd say Midnight Tackle, and all the kids would try to run through you to get to the other line. You tackled as many as you could, and then they joined you when the kids came back the other way. And the last person standing was it for the next game. Okay, can you imagine 6th graders playing that today? You know, boys and girls both? There's just no way. Cops and Robbers was another one, also Cowboys and Indians, we called it both the same way. The goal there was to go out and bring people back to the jail, and again, boys and girls, lots of wrestling, lots of dragging across the ground, etc. Hilly Holly Over was a favorite of ours. You threw the ball over the roof, and there was 2 teams, and when you threw it over, then you had to run around. And exactly how that ended, I don't know. I don't really remember. There was no tackling in that, though.
What'd you do for food? And each one of you, you know, any of these questions, you're free to also answer when it comes to you.
We bought sandwiches from home, or something from home. I remember my favorite was sliced Italian bread from the Pesh Bakery with chunk tuna fish on it, because I didn't like mayonnaise, and an apple and a candy bar of some sort, or maybe cookies or whatever, and probably a some kind of water to drink, I don't think we had soda too much back then, at least we didn't. I'm trying to think what else I wanted to mention. Again, I just can't emphasize how great Mrs. Dietzel was. Yes?
Hours, when did you get there, and when did you go home, etc.?
That is, I was sitting here since Peg called me, and I was trying to remember that. I think we got there someplace between 8:30 and 9, and I think we left between 2:30 and 3:30, but I could be making that up. I don't really know.
That's the ballpark.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Fuller, at the various schools that she worked at, she used to bring soup from home and leave it on the stove, because not everybody had enough food at home to bring into school, or because the weather was cold. And it was her job to tend the fire.
I said when I first went there, they had a pot-bellied stove, which was fired by wood, and they had a wood shed out there. And at the end, that was gone.
By the time I went there, we had a furnace. Yeah, we had a furnace.
So,
And one of the other things we did, we played marbles in the back of the school room. There was an empty spot there, and we would play marbles for keeps. And some days you get lucky and bring home a bunch of marbles, and other days you lose your marbles. That was just something we did. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention is in the center of the school, there was 2 big desks that the kids who were in 6th grade got to sit in those, but only if you were good. Again, reward system. If you were good, you got to sit in these desks, which was much higher than everybody else was. And I think Fred and I had sat together for quite a while on those 2 desks, if I remember correctly. The other thing is, when Mrs. Dietzel was teaching other grades, if you had a problem with something and you didn't know the answer to something, or you were reading and you didn't know what this word meant, what she wanted you to do was walk up to her quietly, tap her on the shoulder, and point. And she'd turn around and whisper to you what the word meant, or what the solution was for the math problem you couldn't figure out, and then you went back to your seat and
that's a
continued
nice
on.
memory.
Yeah. I think that probably.
Cool.
Yeah, good.
Hi, Barb.
Hey. My name is Barbara Better Washburn, and I went to a one-room school in Maniville. And it was many, many years ago. In fact, my father went there too.
Oh, wow.
So that's how old the school is. And now the school is privately owned. And I'm surprised you couldn't find it, Peggy.
I couldn't find exactly which one it
So
is.
did you see all the
It's kind
lilac
of like
bushes?
behind it, lilac bushes.
We'll take a
It's
ride.
kind of close to the road, too.
We'll take a ride.
And what I remember is tracking to the outhouse in the snow and freezing to death. We also had a potbelly stove. And mostly we played killy over. That's where you throw the ball over the schoolhouse. And the other one has to catch it on the other side, like you were saying, you played. And I really can't remember much more than it's been so many, many years.
I have a question. Did you walk?
Yeah,
How
we
long did it
walked to
take you
school.
Get to school?
10 minutes,
Oh,
I didn't live
okay.
that far away.
Oh.
And our school hours were like from 9 to 3.
Okay.
And mostly we took our own lunch, so. But we had a teacher, his name was Leon Willis, and we had him for years and years. And we always had the best Christmas pageants. It was fun, he was really a good teacher. So I guess that's all I really remember.
I'm so glad you were here.
Yeah.
I suppose you don't remember this because, I mean, even though it was years and years ago,
Yeah.
in the 1880s,
Because I'm in my 90s.
in the late 1800s, the school actually got knocked 6 feet off of its foundation from a tornado.
Our school?
Yeah.
I must have not been born.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember that. Or maybe I wasn't around.
It was an honor to have you here.
Yeah, that's
Thank
nice.
you.
I mean, it's an honor to have all of you here,
Yeah.
but to have somebody who we know in 1938 was in school.
Hi, my name
Probably
is,
just started by then.
my name is Melody Washburn Daly, and I went to Cedar Brook with Janine. And I only went there 1 year though, and then they closed the school, the year I went. But I went there because they wanted to send, we didn't have kindergarten at Cedar Grove, and they wanted to send me to Mount Marion to kindergarten. And my mother said, no, she's not going on the bus by herself, because my cousin was going to Cedar Grove. And so I went to Cedar Grove and started in first grade, so I never went to kindergarten. But I think one of my biggest memories, I loved Mrs. Fuller. She was very kind, very sweet. I remember she always wore those black old lady shoes. They must have been comfy because she wore them every day, and always a pencil skirt. That's kind of what she wore every day, and a sweater. She always had a sweater on. And, but she was really good, and it was really, I think, for my experience, because that was my first year of school, it was nice because the older students, like Wes was saying, always helped the younger students, and there was never an argument, never a fight, no fuss. It was just a really pleasant atmosphere, that's all I can say. We always brought our lunch, and if we didn't bring something to drink, you could buy milk, and your father was the one that brought the milk over from the school.
Right.
And he would bring a tray of milk and you could buy milk. And I do remember that, and I remember Jean's father, who was really a nice man. And one of my memories is that we had a Christmas Christmas pageant, and Pam Sinnott got the mumps. And she couldn't do her little skit. And her skit was, all I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth. And so Mrs. Fuller said, do you think you can do both yours and Pam's too? Luckily, I didn't have 2 front teeth. So it worked out really well that I did all I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth. And I had to memorize that one and mine. I had 2 and Pam had 2. But I did all of them and I did an okay job, but I didn't have 2 front teeth. And we didn't play games like you do. We played kickball, dodgeball, hide and seek, things like that we played. But I don't remember any other ones that we played.
Fox and Geese, were you there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
1 year.
Yeah.
And you'd make a path in the snow
Right,
that you had to,
Yeah. And we had Mrs. Brady was our art teacher, and she would come. Music teacher, and she would come. Yeah, who was our art teacher?
I don't remember.
Mr. LaPlante.
Oh, LaPlante.
I don't remember
I think came.
I don't remember him.
He drove an Edsel.
Yeah, I do remember Mrs. Brady came for music. We had music. I do remember her coming for music. But like I said, I was only there for a year, and then they actually closed the school, and then.
Did you walk?
No, we went on the bus.
Oh, the head bus.
But that's why we lived on Manaville Road, and the bus was gonna go to Mount Marion with me by myself.
Right,
And my mother said, I
Oh,
don't think
yeah,
so.
yeah.
You're not going by yourself on that bus.
Yeah.
And, so I ended up going to Cedar Grove. But like I said, I was only there 1 year. I think you were in 4th grade. I haven't looked.
You were young, I know you were young.
Yeah, I was in 1st grade, and I think you were in 4th or 5th grade.
Buzz.
Yeah, Janine was older than me, but, it was a fun experience, I think.
What were your
For my
school
first-
hours, do you remember?
I don't, I think there was probably I don't know, I got on the bus, it seemed like I got on the bus at 7:30. So maybe 8:30, because you had to go around the whole thing. And back when we went to school, there was no school closings.
Right.
You heard that bus coming down, it would be in West Saugerties, and you'd hear it with the chains. There was no school closing, and my mother never wanted me to get cold to go to school, so my cousin would have to stand out there, and he'd yell in the house, the bus is coming. And then I would go around with him. My mother didn't want me to be cold going to school.
Well,
It was
were
okay.
you an overprotective mother?
Kind of.
Cousin.
Kind of. But it was, I think for my first year, it was a really good experience. We didn't have that many students. How many students do we have?
It depended.
But
And
not
with all
too
the
many,
ones,
25 maybe?
20, I would say.
Yeah, 20, 25.
20 to
We didn't have very
25.
many at all. When you were saying how some of these schools we didn't have very many students at all. We never had 30 students in the class.
Yeah, I do have that information
Yeah.
for various
Yeah, we
schools
didn't have,
in the 1870s.
when I went, but like I said, I was only there for a year.
Yeah.
Well, it also changed because of the Winston farm. When they were active, we would have migrant worker children
Right.
there. So
Right.
it depended on.
Yes, there was a young man who died, probably the son of one of the workers. I remember reading about, I can't recall it right now, but it was not it was a Latino name, I believe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm next. Janine Ricketts and I went to Cedar Grove along, both of my parents went there and their families and siblings. The only 2 things, I'm gonna make this short, is I wanna say between the one-room school and I went then 7th to 12th in the high school, that the one-room schoolhouse education far surpassed what you got in high school. And the other thing I'm gonna argue with Mr. Finger down here, nobody was better than Evelina Fuller. No, I mean, and the poor woman, I'm gonna say this too, if you ever remember Mary Martin's Peter Pan in 1950s, the guy that played Captain Hook, poor Mrs. Fuller was homely. She looked just like Cyril Richard, who played Captain Hook. But to give the
Do you
woman
remember she
credit,
had that crooked tooth in the front of her mouth?
I can't remember, but she was
had a
not,
crooked tooth in
and
front of her
she had a
mouth.
beautiful name like Evelina, and she didn't live up to the name. But neither did I. So anyway, I do want to say, and to this day, pay her the compliment and the tribute that if it wasn't for her, and that I learned to read and loved to read and loved education, that I would have, if you don't have the love of reading and learning, you're messed up. So I want to give her the credit, and I'm sorry, Mrs.
Every one of you here that are speaking, and of course, other people, we're all paying tribute to all of them. We are.
And my name is Florence Ball Kelly, and I went to the Saxon one-room schoolhouse. And my dad tended the stove every morning before we got there to go down and put either wood or coal in it. When we didn't have enough coal at our place at the school, we went across to Carrie Vaugh's house, and she, right across the street, and got coal from her. Our water was from either Carrie Vaugh's house or Ted Legg's house. And we didn't have no running water there, so we had the buckets and the basin, and the drink was with a dipper, great big old pail with a dipper.
And the dipper was passed around.
Yeah. Don't worry about getting sick.
And we're all living here.
Yeah,
right. That's right.
We walked to school every day. We had to go through the cornfield to come into school.
Saxton Flats.
Yeah, the Saxon Flats, yeah. No transportation back there. One day Grandpa did put on his horse and carriage and come down with the wagon and brought us all home from school. The other thing was we had school plays, and my mom used to play the Hawaiian guitar, and she did it one year for our Christmas party. And our gifts that we had underneath the tree were all wrapped in newspapers. And we used to take the comics and go through and look and see what we wanted to get for Christmas. And the thing that we got from the school was either a pencil or paper or an orange, stuff like that, but it was okay. And later on, I went over to the little school here by Mount Marion. We did 7th and 8th grade there, but we came over to Kale School to do our lunch and our physical ed classes. And then from there,
How did you get from, you used to walk from your house to the one-room schoolhouse, how did you get to Mount Marion?
How did I get to where?
Mount Marion School, the second one you went to.
I didn't go to Mount Marion.
You said,
I'm sorry, over here at St. Mary's, by St. Mary's, I'm sorry. And then we did a school bus. We had to walk from our house out to the end of the road, which is like 3/4 of a mile to catch the school bus, which Sue's family, the Garrisons, drove the school bus back then.
and we had Merle as a bus driver.
That's right.
And he'd come 15 minutes early and park at the Hillsborough for 15 minutes so that everybody could get to because Stanley Niekamp, etc., they were all coming down from
Maniville Road, yeah.
And we were all coming from Volk Road, and all the Volks were coming from Volk Road.
There's 15 of us.
And then Aunt Doris's was what?
Yeah, and they had 7 in that family, yeah.
But I remember Aunt Hilda.
Oh, Hilda was awful.
Hilda Garrison.
That's her mother. That's her mother.
Oh, no, I thought you were talking about Hilda Garrison.
Oh,
Hilda Garrison was awful.
Yeah.
Hilda, Harry and Hilda Volk are Snooky's parents.
Yes.
So
Okay, yes.
Aunt Hilda would come driving. Uncle Harry had the snowplow with the big wooden V.
Yes.
And Hilda had the school bus that went from your end of Walk Road out to the beginning.
Right.
And there was a sign on it, school bus.
Picked up all the children on the way.
Yeah.
This is a school bus to us. And I loved every second
Yes, it was
I'm
great.
sorry, I interrupted you.
That's okay. I mean, we did all our classes there, and what the little kids didn't remember, because they had two great big blackboards on each side of the wall, and when they did classes, the teacher would walk up and just do the first group and then do the second group, and so you could all hear from each of the grades what was being taught. And we learned to print and cursive, and you don't do that anymore at the schools.
Kids can't find their name.
I know.
Can't read an envelope.
And of course, the outhouse was boys and girls. It was a big building that said boys and girls, and so you had to ask permission to go, and then you had to walk through the snow to get there, because you went to school even if it snowed.
Yeah.
And a lot of times going through the cornfield from Ted Legs up to our house, my mom would meet us in the middle of the field with blankets wrapped around us so we could get home and start warming up before we got there.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have to add one thing though about Mr. Garrison. Not only was he there 15 minutes waiting, you remember going down Quarryville Hill in a
Oh, yeah.
snowstorm and he turned around and said, no
Yeah,
way.
and it was sliding.
No way. And
Yeah.
we had a snow day.
Yeah, yeah.
They were
I remember that bus
we
going.
smoked on the bus.
Yeah, but they sat in the back, so.
With Danny Topple and some other, very entertaining
I have a
people.
question. Now, a lot of times, if, let's say, we're saying there's 50 registered students and only, usually only 25 showed up. Did all students pass? I mean, like, sometimes they
Well,
wouldn't
I
go
left
because
there,
of.
it was still open when I left there, and I come down and went to the Saugerties school.
Yeah.
So, I mean, most of the kids in my class that was graduated with, got out with me, we all passed. I think there was only one child that didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of other kids from the area that had handicaps and stuff. And back then, they didn't have anybody to come for a support system to come in and help you with them. So.
When I was saying that about number enrolled, that was different education laws in the 1800s.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was just
It all-
curious, like, if
it all
you're
changed.
working in the farm or something and it's, mowing season or whatever, and you can't go to school, do you still pass?
Yeah, we didn't have no running water or electricity until 2 years before I got married. And it's like we lived off the land.
Yeah, yeah.
We had the hugest gardens ever, and canning, and my mother made her own bread. Yeah. So
We have about 10 or 15 minutes left.
Jeannie has a thing.
Oh, I
Jeannie,
have a
wa-
thing.
and then I'm gonna open it up. Snooki?
No, in regards to your question, this is a letter written by the teacher Evelina Fuller in this magazine, and she wrote, "One thing I would like to emphasize is that you receive the same type of education in the one-room country schools as you did in a graded school. If the school was in New York State, you had to pass a Regents in order to go to high school. So, there was, even though it's a one-room school and you wanna call it primitive, you still had to obey the rules of New York State in order to pass. So it wasn't, the teacher's decision or something else. And I remember one year the one girl did get held back because, you're only handicapping the child if they're not, up to the level to go on. But you did have to obey the rules in New York State.
Yeah, our first teacher was Miss Snyder, and she had a lady that brought her to school and dropped her off and then was back there to pick her up at the end of the day. She was an awesome teacher. Then we put through 2 other teachers before we had Miss Hummel, who came from Haynes Falls, New York. And she always had a carload of stuff that she would put out during the day to see if anybody needed anything for at home, which was awesome. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, she'd go back. So yeah, it was very educational, interesting. And I was reading a little article about one-room schools, and it says that one-room schools were all red at one point. Now you can go on to the internet and you can find out the history of one-room schools and also why they were red.
Because of the paint.
Yes.
Yeah, those that were framed, same with barns. It was lead oxide.
Yeah.
It was cheap.
Yeah, you got, you, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Actually, wasn't Cedar Grove red at one time?
It was, I believe.
I think I've seen it referenced as the little red
I
schoolhouse.
went to
Oh, it's always written, yeah, it was
Yeah,
white when
white
we
when
were
I-
there.
Saxon was red and then turned gray.
Yeah, yeah.
Mine was
Yeah.
always green and white.
I have,
You first.
I have a question.
Get out
Go.
of here, please.
Two questions. First of all, how did an individual get to be accepted to be a teacher? What were the qualifications? How did they get it? The second thing is, how did they get paid? Did you have to pay, or your parents pay something to go to the school?
Taxes.
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 We never had to.
So
Taxes
you-
and the state.
So each homeowner paid so many dollars per year to the
You
town
paid in
government.
taxes, like you do
Just
now.
like you do now.
And prior to centralization, I'll say in the 1900s, each district had trustees
Yes.
and tax collectors. And, you know, I even found some of that information. And so you would go to Mrs. Rick's house, if you lived in Unionville, in Betterman, and you would go to Mrs. Rick's house and pay your taxes there.
Okay. My father was a trustee for the Cortland school system,
Okay.
the Cortland school. And I recently, not 4 or 5 years ago, I came across a bunch of his records. And I gave it to Marjorie for the Historic
Nice.
Society. But interesting, they had the salary of Mrs. Tietzel in there.
Yeah.
But I think, if I remember correctly, I think it was like $1,600 a year. That's what she got.
Wasn't much.
No,
Yeah.
no. And there was all kinds of stuff they went through. There was a whole bunch of documentation about the water problems they had and putting the additions on and everything like that. And I gave that all to the Historical Society.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anything else, Snook?
I think that's it.
No, I was
Yeah.
just gonna say, Gus is on how they were
Oh,
back
sorry.
years ago, like when my parents went, there wasn't the education required that you have to go through now to teach.
Right.
You would go 1 or 2 years and get a certificate, because I remember when my mother went, there was Betty Twilliger, and she was very young, and a lot of them weren't that much older than the kids when you consider some of the boys were 15 years old, and you got an 18-year-old girl trying to keep control of the schoolhouse.
yeah.
They were only like, you only needed 1 or 2 years to get a certificate. Then later on, like when we went, you would, you know, you were required more education and certificates, you know. I don't know if it was a bachelor's or whatever you wanna call it, but you went like to a 4-year college.
Yeah, when it was the certificates, that was either in Albany or New Paltz where they went.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, they called them normal schools, now they're the SUNY schools, but
Right.
they were normal schools, and
Yeah.
that's where you got your
Yeah.
teaching education.
I think that could be a whole discussion in itself someday, you know? These guys were awesome.
Yes.
Does anybody have anything they wanna add, ask? Yes, ma'am.
I went to the Mount Marion,
Yes.
one schoolhouse, first grade and part of second. And I walked, I lived on the other side of the tracks from where Arzie lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 6 years old and walked up around the corner. I wouldn't let it, I don't know what you would
Right.
walk that today, but
Right.
still, you know, it was
Right.
not big or anything.
Right.
But my 2 older brothers and I went there, then, and half of second grade. And then there was no kindergarten there, so I don't know, but it was, I started in first grade. And then we were shipped off to, or bused off to Glasgow, because they were building the Mount Marion School. Mount Marion Park was built mostly for IBMers, and needed a much larger school. So I went half of second and half of third to Glasgow, and then to the new Mount Marion School.
Cool.
Yeah.
Diana?
I went to West Camp School, and my biggest memory is second grade is when they centralized. So that would have been 57, 58.
Yeah, that school stayed open longer than most.
Right, and we had kindergarten. We did walk. We brought sandwiches, which I threw to the cows every night when I went home, because I hated the sandwiches my parents made. Big memory. I don't know if the cows liked it, but I did. And we did, like I said, we did walk. I lived at the end of Emmerich Road, and it was located on Emmerich Road at the time. But they had, and then from when they centralized, we went to Malden. And we had, our teacher was Mrs. Risley. My memory of her is a grandmother effect. The flowy skirts that your grandmothers would wear back then. She was beautiful. She was a wonderful woman. And I thought she lived at the end of 9W and Malden Turnpike. And she ended up in Malden. And Malden was three classrooms. And when I was in 5th grade, I was supposed to go to Cahill. But there were only 5 people in our class, so they made a 6th grade and kept us in Malden. And then, but it was all about centralization is why we moved.
I know there was a fire there at some point, I think in the 50s. Is that building still standing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I want to think, and I haven't been down on Hunt Road, but I want to think of the private residence.
If you
I'll have
think
to
of
take
it.
a ride down and just, yeah, I can do that.
Okay,
But
cool.
yeah, but there was, and I remember the sandbox. In kindergarten, they had a sandbox in the back of the room that you could go play in.
They get full of sand.
Yeah.
I want to thank all of you for being here tonight.
Well, wait, okay.
Oh,
Yep.
any burning desires? Thank you, everyone.
Okay, you have a question.
Oh,
No, I just wanted to say, like I said before, I went to the one in the schoolhouse, no indoor plumbing. And I remember my mom packing me my lunchbox with hot chocolate thermos. And I remember Coach Smith, he was John Smith, would come up and give us our gym class.
Yes.
And I remember learning how to square dance. at
oh,
gym
right, I remember
class.
square
He came to West Camp too.
Did he?
Yeah.
Square dancing, I do remember in the 6th grade in the middle of New York City, learning all about square dancing. Trivia Park and stuff. Anyhow, next week,
We
you're
can do that next time.
next
you go.
May I just say something?
Well-
Every morning after the Saxon Schoolhouse, we did do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes.
before or after we changed it.
And the Lord's Prayer.
Was the
And the Lord's
salute like
Prayer,
this
right.
when you were in school?
Excuse me?
Was the salute like this when you were in school? or-
No.
It wasn't up until the 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't do that.
And
All right.
And we had air raid drills, we had a.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, had that in Long Island, yeah.
We're going to wrap this up, and you guys can reminisce as we put the chairs away. But we want to introduce next month, a presentation that is going to be given by me. And it's going to bring up a couple questions. What this place looked like before the Thruway. Do you know why Saugerties is the only exit entrance that has 2 toll booths?
When I worked as a toll collector, they said because they.
Well, you're going to find out. We're not doing
Don't
research.
get any advance.
The second thing is that, and I will leave it as, do anybody know, and don't answer it, but if you don't know, where is Burns Corners? And on that note, we'll see you here again next month.
That was great.
That was
Great panel.
Remember the phones.
Oh, God.